Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome back for another video of Langrisser. And this time we're gonna showcase this hero here. And this character is having a weird name, Broken Winged Bird. I don't know. Every time when I said that name, I was just like wondering like what is Zealand thinking about changing her name into Broken Winged Bird. I honestly, this name sounds a bit weird and unusual, but when it comes to the lore story, kind of makes sense. But for me, I don't think I ever dive into the story much. But anyways, her original name is Hibiscus in CN, but for some reason, Zealand decided to give her a different name for the global version, which is known as Broken Winged Bird. So I think for sure I'll call this one Bird, just to simplify things, or just Hibiscus as the original name. So let's see what she's about. So Hibiscus is a demon, not demon, is a dark incarnation, and also Meteor Strike as well as Mythical Realm as the factions. And her classes, she's an archer and an assassin. And as you can tell, she looks pretty awesome in this kind of forms. Anyways, personally, even though many people did not want to pull for her, she's actually pretty decent for those who want like a side grade per se. So, anyways, as of right now, the current meta is a bit crazy, but since these guys might bring in something new to the table, but we'll have to see how they're gonna interact against certain opponents. So, anyways, the bird, I should probably just call her bird. Anyways, her talent attack increase crit is increased by 10%. After taking action, applies gaze to the nearest one enemy in a straight line. And what this does that after using a skill, gains skill damage reduced by 15%, and penetrate, and which cannot be guarded when attacked by bird, which will last for 2 turns. Penetrate and gaze ignores immunity, and you cannot dispel it. And initially, some people thought that the penetrate thing is like it can be ignored or whatever. Like it's just a debuff that can be ignored. No, that's not the case here because apparently these ones do bypass those immunities, and this will be applied to them no matter what. So this kind of stuff is considered a mark rather than a debuff. And also gaze is removed at the start of the second turn, after being applied or when triggered. As you can see, this town itself sounds pretty dangerous if you think about it. And as for the skills, she starts with this skill called Snipe, which is a typical archer skill. And also, when you upgrade it once, you get Snare, which is the other common archer skill. And when you upgrade to one of those classes, you'll unlock one of her unique called Stormfeather Blade. Previously, when I tried to translate this skill into English from CN, I was almost right on this one. Just that the 2 words called Stormfeather, these are just one word. So yep, that's the one little error I did, but I don't know. Not gonna lie, it's kind of difficult for me to know what is the exact pronunciation. So yep, things like this usually happens. So, anyways, Stormfeather Blade skill, which is a single target attack skill, it does 1.3 times damage. Before battle, applies the chance being critical hit increased by 25% and critical damage taken increased by 25% on the enemy, and this will last for 2 turns. So essentially, this one applies debuffs such as like make them take more damage against crits, and also they suffer more chance of being critically hit by 25%. And what I think about this skill can be pretty strong in many ways. And then the skill 8 is the common skill that she comes with in one of her classes, like the final class. And she also comes with Deadeye, which is a powerful common skill. And she also has a unique 1C skill, which is called Eye of the Wind Spirit. And this has a passive part of this at the start of the turn. Grants 2 random adjacent allies the effect. After taking action, applies Penetrate on enemies within 2 blocks. With Gaze for 2 turns. This Gaze effect ignores immunity and cannot be dispelled. And this will last for 1 turn. And this one does AoE attack in one straight line, and it's a 7 blocks like range. dealing 0.2 times AoE damage and applies gaze on all of them that she hits. After battle, can move another 3 blocks if the caster is on defensive terrain or water. This skill's range is increased by 2 blocks. Yeah, you heard that right. As long as she's standing in the as long as she's standing in the defensive terrain or water, she's going to be able to shoot enemies from further distance, which is absolutely nuts. And she also comes with backstab, which I don't know. I don't think anyone will run this because you're better off running some skills that does damage. But this skill used to be best back in the day, but now since a lot of skills kind of outclass this, so I don't see the reason why you want to bring this. But is there as an option for low level players if you need like a easy damage, that is. And finally, one of the rarest skills that made its appearance in this character, which is Calamity. Previously, this skill was exclusive to D-Heart and then to Talia, and then now Bird. Bird now has this skill. Calamity is a common skill, which is pretty rare if you think about it. So this does ignore guard, and also this skill allows her to attack enemy hero directly, which can be dangerous in many ways. And especially if you're trying to assassinate enemies that are pretty squishy, that is. And this does deal 1.3 times damage, and before battle, steals a maximum of 2 buffs from the enemy. Pretty dirty. This is like plunder, but much more chaotic. And this is the main reason why I wanted her to be in my roster because she's pretty amazing. But at the same time, I don't think some people put faith in her capabilities of like killing certain targets per se. The reason I chose assassins because it's to negate the class reverse from Dragus or Dragon Slayer, I would say, because in case if I'm fighting against the Dragon Slayer that is like a flyer for a reason, but most of the time you usually run into him as a demon, but who knows? Some people might run him differently, but anyway, we're getting off topic. So let me get to the next part of this video here. So which is the soldier selection she has. She comes with Dustwing Blade, which is the somewhat new soldier. She also has bandits, and also she comes with a new soldier, the new archer soldier called Longwing Arrow. Fits perfectly with the theme of her, of course. Wild Expedition, although the color matches her pretty well, I don't think you need a. I don't think you could run her like this, but anyways, there's more soldier options down here. There's also Fairy Spirit Prophets for capitalizing damage, I think. Sorceress as well. Dark Elf Sniper, and also Sky Archer. I think Sky Archer is probably the most important soldiers to have on her because with this soldier, essentially becomes a flying unit. So yeah, basically you could have a bird that flies, literally flies in the air, even though she's touching the ground. And she also have Elfmaster as the other option if you need to, but I don't know who will run this soldier because nowadays, like she's like this soldier is pretty basic, but it's actually pretty nice to have. But if I were many players, I would run Sky Archers because this does increase attack as well as turning her movement type to flying for the sake of it. And as for equipment set, I run with her. Of course, this is not fully built, so I still need to find some time to completely 6-star these. So, anyways, this is the deal of Hibiscus, or which is a bird. I run with Crystal Stinger to completely ignore a certain amount of defense, so that way she can do some killing quite easily. And she also go with Last Rites as well in case if you're being attacked, which most considerers you don't want that. So yeah, this is there to ensure that your Hibiscus does not die to a sudden attack. But of course, Last Rites can be broken by a fixed damage. But anyways, the other part is called Flower Boom Bonnet, which is allow her to survive a bit more if she's falling below a certain HP. The Edge of Memories is gonna help her be able to refresh some of the skill cooldown a bit faster, and also to capitalizing the damage. And then as for the enchants, I went for Rough Sea for, of course, capitalizing additional offensive capabilities as well as taking less damage. Yep, which with this build, this will make her kind of dangerous. But of course, you can build her with any other gear you like if you don't feel confident building that way. So anyways, let's actually before we start that, I want to show you what her 3C is. So her 3C is called Soul Hunt Execution. And what this does that for each penetrate on the enemy, mobility +2 and range +1. So like the more of those penetrate you have on the enemies, she's gonna be able to hit enemies from far away, which is absolutely nuts. And this can be stacked up to 2 times, which is a balance, I guess. And it's a physical damage, and this attacks one enemy in a straight line. And by the way, this is like a linear skill, so that means that you cannot attack enemies that are not in the same line as you. So yeah, this is the one downside for this skill. So just to let you know, but you can actually easily make up with this by, of course, playing strategically. And this does 1.6 times damage. When eliminating an enemy, this skill cooldown is reduced by 2 turns, which is nice. And then when equipping with a ranged soldier, they will also attack. After attacking, can move again using the remaining mobility. If the enemy is afflicted with gaze or penetrate, attack increased by 30% for the battle. For this battle, I mean. If the enemy is afflicted with penetrate, the enemy becomes unable to trigger effects that resist fatal damage for this battle. So what I mean by that is revive disable. So this skill right here can be dangerous. She's like Ymir but ranged. But a lot of people say that she's kind of underwhelming compared to Ymir because Ymir does does hit like a truck, but Hibiscus on the other hand probably does not do that. But we'll have to see how she works in battle because even though it's a little, but it could also impact a lot if things were played right. And also the fatal resist thing is only applied to PvP. So that means if you try to do this in PvP, you won't be able to stop them from reviving. And this is what she looks like when you execute a 3C skill. Looks pretty nice. Okay, let's take on this battle and see what we have here. Okay, let me check my settings real quick before we begin. My animation's on. I need this off for this battle. And right away, our opponents are my first opponent is Virelia. Second opponent is is Nonorin, and my final opponent is Enya. Okay, let's begin here. We'll run the usual skills here. And since I'm fighting against Virelia first, I don't need to get up close. Instead, I can just attack from behind. I mean, from far range, like this. And then I can move away a bit more. Okay, no wonder why Virelia does that there. I'm gonna move forward right here. Oh, that's gonna hit me, but whatever, it's fine. And since the soldiers are still alive, I'm going to use Calamity to attack her directly. Well, maybe not. Not yet, at least. Okay, am I able to reach her from there? Yep, I can. And I'm gonna move aside. I do not want to get too close to her. She will still hit me anyways. Where can she go from here? I'll be in the sky here for now. And now let's go into attack. Yeah, I don't know, Silence Calamity doesn't really do like a direct hero damage, but I guess not all the time though. So yeah, I might consider switching that out for the 3C if I ever had a chance. Anyways, we got into the next battle. This time we have allies with Seraphina, Randell, and Sapphirine. Let's begin. Okay, so Seraphina won't be able to reach me that far. Okay. But we do need to move back a bit. Use that skill to change. I think we'll do this you and you. And you too. If you move too far, you're gonna suffer consequences. And then Seraphina go here to activate that, and then buff everybody, and then summon a sprite or whatever, or spirit I mean, and move down here. Wait, now she slowed down because of how far she went. Okay, yep, there are perfect lines for me to snipe. I don't think I should be moving that far, so I'm just gonna move back a bit and then do it like this. And then move here. But I still took the consequences, whatever. 3 or more blocks, huh? Well, looks like I had no choice but to do this here. Hibiscus has to go. She's dangerous. Seraphina will also have to go. Let's get rid of you right there. Sapphire's dead. They traded each other. Okay, I'm gonna go right here and then put penetrate on there. Oh, they traded. Whatever, that's fine. A win's a win. And there we go. Awakened. Anyways, I'll be right back. I'm going to showcase her abilities really quick. So, be right back. Okay, here we are in the battle. So, let's showcase what she does here. In her 3C ability. Let's see it really quick. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be doing like this. Oh, too far. from 4 blocks, as you see here. It has to be linear skill, by the way. Let's do it here. Yeah, it doesn't seem strong at all because it's a challenge level, but as you can see, that does a decent amount. Okay, anyways, as you see, that effect apply penetrate on enemies. Because like this Langrisser has like some kind of buff earlier, I believe. Which makes Hibiscus pretty dangerous here. And even Gaze can be applied on there too. So yeah, this character can be a menace to deal with. So anyways, hope you all find this video helpful or informative, and I'll see you all next time.